So it begins. New York City will be the first city in America to charge Americans just to go to work in the morning.
Very first state in the nation, the very first city in America to have a congestion pricing plan.
Americans will have to pay around $23 per day.
Passenger vehicles would be charged $15 to enter the congestion zone, trucks between $24 and $36 depending on size, and motorcycles $7.50. Those tolls would be charged once per day and would be in effect between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on weekends.
Nobody can afford that. It's a lot of money. So they want us to drive. I'm asthmatic. I don't want to be on a train. It's not healthy for me. So that's why I choose to drive. And I can get penalized for driving for my own safety. It's insane.
Shalom. I would like to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere Akim, pushing this word out across the four corners of the world. I have an article from fortune.com, and the title says, NYC up in arms over long-awaited plan to charge drivers $15 or more to enter central Manhattan. And this article was published on November the 30th, 2023. And it says, most drivers will pay $15 to enter Manhattan's central business district under a plan released by New York officials Thursday. The congestion pricing plan, which neighboring New Jersey has filed a lawsuit over, will be the first such program in the U.S. if it is approved by the transportation officials early next year. Under the plan, passenger car drivers entering Manhattan south of 60th Street during daytime hours will be charged $15 electronically, while the fee for small trucks will be $24 and large trucks will be charged $36. Cities such as London and Stockholm have similar programs in place, but New York City is poised to become the first in the U.S. Revenue from the tolls, projected to be roughly $1 billion annually, will be used to finance borrowing to upgrade the city's mass transit systems. The proposal from the Traffic Mobility Review Board, a New York state body charged with advising the Metropolitan Transportation Authority on the tolls, includes discounts for travel between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. and for frequent low-income drivers. Government vehicles, such as municipal garbage trucks, will be exempt. Taxi drivers will pass a $1.25 surcharge onto their passengers for entering the congestion zone, while app-based ride-hail passengers will see a $2.50 surcharge. Officials say that in addition to funding needed transit improvements, congestion pricing will result in improved air quality and reduced traffic. So now, all of a sudden, Esau wants to be concerned about the air quality at the end of his rulership. Meanwhile, he has all these different chemical plants that's causing all these different air pollutants to throw off the ecosystem, along with these different toxic fumes that's coming from these different vehicles that's causing smog. And it's stated within Revelation 11 chapter how the Lord is going to destroy them that destroyed the earth. So Esau, Edom, and more so the hierarchy of them, you are responsible for this. So back to the article. Absent this, we're going to choking in our own traffic for a long time to come, and the MTA is not going to have the funds necessary to provide quality service. Carl Westbrook, chair of the Traffic Review Board, said in presenting that report to MTA officials. We jump on down, and it says the Traffic Mobility Review Board's recommended credit structure is wholly inadequate, especially the total lack of toll credits for the George Washington Bridge, which will lead to toll shopping, increased congestion in underserved communities, and excessive tolling at New Jersey crossings into Manhattan. Murphy, who filed a federal lawsuit over congestion pricing in July, said in a statement, the MTA board will vote on a plan after a series of public hearings scheduled for February 2024. So by watching different news clips and reading different comments pertaining to this topic right here, a lot of people are highly upset, especially for the ones who have to commute daily to this area right here, which is central Manhattan. They're complaining about these unlawful decrees that's really issued out by Esau Edom. These people are going through financial straits due to this orchestrated inflation, all due to that greed that Esau is embedded with. And that takes me to Habakkuk 2 and 8, because thou, and that's referring to the hierarchy of Esau Edom, has spoiled many nations. And the way that you have spoiled or ruined many nations is due to your left hand blessing, which is the sword, which comes into many different fashions and forms. Like, for example, this engineered inflation, which is placing a lot of people into economic straits. So because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people should spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So by Esau being into that power seat of rulership, first and foremost for us as the biblical Israelites, he has been very oppressive. But not just on us, he has been burdensome or oppressive upon these other nations as well. And that takes me to Isaiah 10 and 1. And as you can see from the top, Assyria is God's instrument. In the modern day, Assyria is referring to Esau Edom, where they are the Most High's sword on their left-hand side that's orchestrating this inflation, which is ultimately going to lead into this great reset, aka a digital currency paradigm. And that takes me to Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And grievousness is characterized by great sorrow or grief, like being very burdensome, tyrannical, or oppressive upon the people. And that's due to by Esau passing out these draconian measures, aka his legislations. And by these severe measures, that's pushing more people's backs to the walls. And if this bill does get passed, and by New York being an empire state, it's going to be like a domino effect upon these larger cities within America. And that's going to be adding more grievousness upon American people. So woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And that takes me to Micah 2 and 1. And as you can see from the heading, woe to oppressors. So woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. And when someone devises iniquity, that means that they are contriving a plot or a scheme that's totally adverse unto the standards of Yahweh Yahushua. Hence, this congestion pricing plan, which is affecting the poor. And the poor in this sense is referring to the Israelites. So if this bill passed, then that means that they're going to be overtaxed. Then on top of that, within this area of central Manhattan, those different neighboring businesses can be able to add a surcharge upon their products and services, which will be adding more injury to the cause. So woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And that power of the hand was authorized by Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. According to the book of Job 9 and 24, how the earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. And by the wicked being into this power seat of rulership and implementing these draconian measures, as it says within Proverbs 29 and 2, when the righteous are in authority, and that's referring to the biblical Israelites, beginning with that governing cabinet of Yahushua, referring to the hopeful elect, then the people will rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn, and the earth, along with its inhabitants, are in a mournful state. And that's because you have that man of sin sitting in that power seat of rulership. Verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence. And that's true. And that violence ties in with Esau's blessing on the left-hand side. And when you read Revelation 6 and 4, it goes into about that red horse. And that's referring to Esau Edom, and how power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And there was given unto him a great sword. And the results of you swinging the sword is going to end up in violence or death. But Esau's sword can come into many different fashions and forms. From his military, his democracy, his science and technology, his economics, and also his unlawful decrees. Look how Esau, in the name of his American democracy, and when he has his eyes set upon a certain land or a country, and if that particular country's leader not abiding by the rules of America's democracy, then they will be demonized upon the world stage. Then Esau would take them off that world stage aka putting him to death, set up a puppet leader, and overtake that country's natural resources. Look how he did with the Americas. And according to the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter and the 21st verse, it goes into about thus with violence should that great city Babylon, referring to America, should be thrown down. And that's because this so-called country was established by violence, and by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh being a righteous balance overall, this same country will be ended by violence. So back again within Micah 2 and 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Case in point, this congestion pricing plan. And on different news clips concerning this topic, you had a lot of people, especially these different taxi drivers, complaining on how this new law, if it does get established, is taking more money out of their pockets, and that's preventing them to provide more for their households. So like it's stated within Micah 2 and 2, that's oppressing a man in his house. And all of Esau's draconian measures, such as this, is only leading to that great reset. A digital currency-based economy via the Karama mentioned in Revelation 13 and 16. Because all of these different tolling booths will soon lead into martial law checkpoints. And for these people that will be commuting to and fro to these different cities, they will have to have that Karama very soon. And that takes me to 2 Ezra 15 verse 17. A man should desire to go into a city and should not be able. And that's due to those martial law checkpoints that will soon be established. And in order for you to be able to maneuver in these particular cities, you will have to have that MOTB. So if they decide to pass this unlawful decree, it could very well be a domino effect upon these other larger cities within America. And this could be all systematically designed to be an order out of chaos tactic, where the so-called powers that be create this disorder so the people will demand order. And that's when the so-called powers that be establish their solution. So they create the problem, create the reaction, and create the solution. And their ultimate solution is the NWO. So that concludes the lesson through the spirit. Hopefully you all stay edified, you all stay strong, keep pushing forward. Shalom.
Already the city is taking the congestion charges already from people living in the city already. So me working and making that money for the city, I don't see why they have to charge me to come and pay before I do that for them too. So it's crazy.
Every day, if we make $200, we have to spend $150 for your supply and cost and everything. So if it's $23, so it's not good for no one. It's not good for no one for the city. If we do this one, so nobody want to do the business in the city. So they want to go with different place where it's cheaper and eligible to get the business.